And hello fellow Techers, Space Bandit here with another episode of World of Tanks, and today we are going to talk about something a little bit different, guys. What you usually find in my videos is map positioning, or areas on the map where you can go and have successful games. Depending on the tank type that you're using, what is the best position on the map in order to get the best outcome with respect to your game. Now, what I never talk about in my videos is details about how to angle your tank, how to position your tank, how to play to your tank's strength. So positioning on the map is called macro positioning, and what we're going to talk about today in this video is micro positioning, meaning how to position your tank so that it's the most effective. Now today we're going to concentrate mostly on Russian tanks, especially on tanks with Pike nose, so we're talking about things like IS-3, Obj.257 and IS-7 in particular, although the first portion will be also relative to pretty much any Russian tank with pretty piss poor gun depression. As you probably know, most of the Russian tanks do not have good gun depression, so you have to generate an artificial gun depression per se, and I'm going to show you in this video how to achieve it. So first part, or first video, will be with respect to that. Then I'm gonna have some clips in a second video that will show you micro positioning when you're on a flat ground. Now today I'm playing an Obj.257, and actually I'm not even playing on my account, it's my son's account. He wanted me to help him with the IS-7 grind, so I told him I would play a little bit of Obj.257. And in a way it's good, because if you play the same tank for a longer period of time, you get used to the positive attributes of that tank, the pros, how to use it properly. So without further ado, let's jump into this replay and talk about these aspects. So as you can see, we are on map Severogorsk, and this position here where I am in now, it's usually an excellent position for any tank with hold down capabilities. But what do I do here? Look at me, I'm playing a Russian heavy tank without any gun depression, and how do I generate my gun depression is via climbing the slope on the left, providing a little bit of a tilt to my tank. So when you provide a little bit of a tilt to your tank, you can generate the artificial gun depression. So now you can have 5 degrees, 6 degrees of gun depression, and it doesn't matter because your tank is tilted, so you don't have to lower your gun to that value. Now, the one bad aspect about this is the fact that now if your position is smart, they will shoot you in the top of your turret. And if you're not aware, most of the Russian tanks, including the medium tanks, have a very weak turret top. So if you're aiming down on them, you should be easily able to penetrate them. Now, since my shooting opportunities are gone, I'm gonna relocate, but make sure that the opposition cannot hit me while I'm crossing. So that's why I'm switching to the first person view, in order to make sure that's not gonna happen. As you notice now, the opposing team fell apart pretty quickly. They were just throwing their tanks away, so we're just gonna go here for some final kills. We're gonna take out this Yaktiger, and as you can see, the E75 can't even penetrate me. It's not really that hard. You hit the bottom plate. Now we're gonna drop back just to kind of, you know, see if E75 is gonna poke out, but he doesn't, so we're gonna move forward. We are full health, so we wanna finish this game. Now, we hit him on a move, and again he fails to penetrate us. And if you play against players like this, guys, now you know why you're losing games. Now here you can see that I don't have gun depression, so instead of shooting the first E75, I went for the second one. Alright, let's move on to the next clips. Now we're gonna talk about micro positioning from the front, and how do we achieve that. Okay, so here you can see I'm gonna get myself in a hold down position, and we're gonna look at 3 different angles. Straight up front. This is where I'm facing right now, looking up front, straight through. Check this out. From this angle, good luck penetrating this tank, unless you hit the turret, right? As you can see, the Pike nose is pointing forward, lower plate is not visible, right? Now, if you slide the angle, like I did here, and you kind of try to side scrape, you all of a sudden expose the front plate side. And in this situation, your deflection angle will change dramatically. And now, tanks that weren't able to penetrate you before are able to penetrate you now. Okay, so we're gonna repeat doing that, and we're gonna re-angle again. Again, Pike nose to the front. Check this out. No bottom plate visible. nothing can hit you. Forget about it. Unless someone hits your cupolas or turret roof. So all you can do is make it difficult for the opposition to hit you. Right? That's all you can do. I mean, if they pen you, obviously big guns will penetrate you anyway. Here you can see a little bit of lower plate sticking out. Now, take a look. Re-angling again here. Check this out. Look how much tank is visible here. Anyone can penetrate you in the top plate right now because it's not angled. The same here. You can see it here. So side scraping in those tanks, definitely a no-no. You should be pointing those tanks directly forward against the opposition. Now let's look at the position again with slightly different angle or different slope of your cover. As you can see here again, the amount of tanks sticking out here. You can pin bottom plate, you can pin front plate, anything. But look, I'm gonna re-angle now. Check this out. Good luck penetrating me now, brother. Good luck. Good luck. Even slightly if you angle. It's not even that bad. Good luck penetrating this. This is going to be extremely difficult. Now, when you side scrape like that, again, you're exposing your top plate on such an angle that anyone will be able to penetrate you. And that's how you position your tank frontally in order to achieve the best out of bounds angle. Now, this screenshot just shows you two shell marks on the top glaciers. The one in the middle of the top left glaciers is when the tank was angled frontally. Pike nose angled frontally to the opposition. The penetration mark on the right side is the penetration mark from when the tank was angled for side scraping. And here you can see what is the effect of side scraping versus pointing your pike nose forward. So I strongly encourage you to angle your tank correctly, especially tanks like IS-3, Obj.257 and IS-7. So if you're going down that line, this is how you should micro position those tanks. Now that only applies to tanks with pike nose. If you're playing tanks with rear mounted turret, this is completely different. Don't follow this guide for those tanks, because in those tanks you actually have to side scrape in order to get the most effective out of bounds angle. Anyway, let's jump into the live gameplay now and let's try to re-emphasize some of these things we just talked about. Okay, so I'm gonna have two games for you today, guys. The first game is on map Cliff with a top tier, and since we're the top tier, we're gonna try to do something quite drastic, because when I'm top tier on this map, I like to scoot down the 2 lane and take the aggressive position at E2. Now, this can only be effective if there are friendlies coming with you. If there are no friendlies coming with you, good luck. You're probably gonna die, because usually there are medium tanks and light tanks that get to position F4, you know, very early in a game. So in this case, I see the bat shot going into this location. I tagged that location earlier. I said that's where I'm going, so I decided to go through with it. And besides, I need to help out my medium tank, because it looks like there's another medium tank that's going after him, and I think it's a yeah, it's a T-54. So we auto lock. We try to shoot him on the move. Unfortunately, that shot bounces. Now, this is going to be tricky. Like, I'm uphill. I don't have gun depression here, right? As you can see, I'm not engaging in this bat shot. I don't want to come up, because if I do, he might be able to pen me. So I need to make sure I get myself in the right position. Now here I'm coming up because I have support. And as you can see, I have to leap over that kind of incline in order to get my gun down, in order to hit him. Right? So we're going to try to do that again. We're going to try to go up here. As you can see, I just get my gun depression here. So we hit him and we're going to drop back. But at this point in time, I'm in a bit of a trouble, because our batchat friend decided to die. And because he died, I'm in a little bit of a pickle. But luckily, there's going to be Ravioli that's in E3. He's going to come and help me. And I really appreciate the help, because if he didn't come down, who knows what would have happened. Now, at the same time, I think the opposition tanks that are in F4, they should have probably pushed us at this point in time, but they decided not to. So we're going to just track this guy, and hopefully our heavy tank can finish him off. Yes, he does. Just in case, I was trying to roll to his side in order to get him. So here, As you can see, I'm gonna utilize my I don't have gun depression, so I'm using, see, I'm kind of rolling this tank sideways in order to get my gun down, and that's what I was showing you in the first video. So that's exactly what I did here. Now what I'm gonna do is come up here and do something similar again. Like I cannot go directly frontally because I won't have gun depression, but here I'm using that hill on the right side as kind of an incline there in order to kind of get my gun down. That's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm gonna do the same thing here with T-54. So this game shows some nice micro positioning here that I'm using with respect to getting my gun depression, right? So this guy decided to run off, which clears this side of the map, which is great. What we're gonna do now is try to get some shots at this Conqueror. Again, I'm doing exactly the same thing. The right side of my tank is slightly higher so that I can get my gun down and maybe get some shots into this Conqueror. But I have no shots at him right now. Again, I'm waiting for him to kind of poke out and see if he's gonna poke out. He actually spots me here. So look what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna reposition and I'm gonna go straight towards that tank that's in front of me. So that way I'm completely protected. He will bounce all day long, shooting at me like that. He doesn't see my lower plate. I'm facing forward. There's no way he's hitting me. Now here I'm side scraping, and that's actually a mistake. So I'm still kind of learning this thing as we go along. I do some things right, I do some things wrong. So I'm gonna try to point out both things, the right things and the bad things that I do. So here the game is pretty close, it's still tight. So what I'm gonna try to do is push on this side of the map, try to push this Conqueror, while our Ravioli is kind of trying to take out this tank destroyer on our right hand side, which by the way turns out to be Solo. Hi Solo, sorry I killed you, but yeah, it is what it is. One of those things. So we're gonna move forward, and here I'm gonna actually make a bit of a mistake, a misplay, because if you notice in a second, you'll see the tree is gonna be falling down. Right there, you can see the tree fall down. So I went way too far, way too far. I knew they were coming back. Here I'm trying to get my hold down position, but I didn't manage to do so. As you can see, I got hit in the top plate by this E75. Now I'm scoping a shot on this Conqueror, but as you can see I can't. If I poke over the hill, I will re-expose myself, so my gun depression is not there. Now I know Solo is pushing me on this side, so what I'm gonna have to do is pay attention to the Conqueror, at the same time turn around to face Solo, and we're gonna put one shell into him. And now I know the Conqueror is coming because they want to outnumber me here. So I'm gonna scoot behind the building, see if Solo comes after me. He doesn't come after me, so what I want to do is I want to re-angle. The Conqueror misses his shell, so we're gonna poke out here. We're in between the shots, so we're gonna try to track him. Yes, we do, and we penetrate him. He fluffs his shot again. Again, I checked if Solo's coming after me. He's not, so we're gonna try to scoot after this Conqueror, try to kill him. Here I had a choice to make. I could kill Solo or I could kill the Conqueror. I decided to go for the Conqueror. It makes really no difference. I can take 2 shells from Solo or the Conqueror, so it doesn't really matter. Maybe if I went after the Charioteer, I wouldn't have taken the 2 hits, but it is what it is. We take him out of the game and we secure the win for the team in a split second. There we go. Game over. So not particularly high damage game, but it shows the effective micro positioning of this tank and what I was able to do in this game. Maybe it will give you guys some sort of idea how to angle, how to position in order to get your shots across. Again, it's a class 1 game, even though it's low damage, but I guess because we are in your face and up close and personal, we finished first on a team with 1620 base XP. Class 1, 10 penetrating hits, 4 kills. Pretty decent game, but nothing spectacular. Anyway, let's jump into the second and last game of the evening. And last game of the evening is on map Pilsen with a very good matchmaking. And this map is actually excellent for heavy tanks, for brawling, especially in area... Well, I like area D4, D3, around there. Actually, well, D4, yes. because it gives you some cover and lets you react either to the left side or the right side of the map. So you're kind of central. You're not really at the edge of the map, yet you're pretty well protected there. The one thing to keep in mind is if there's artillery on the opposing team, which it is in this game, it will have shots on this corner depending on where it positions. I've played artillery on this map and I've positioned so I could actually hit this corner. But in this case, the artillery is not going to be set up to hit me, but you can judge that early in a game to see whether that actually happens or not. So we're going to see who's crossing over here. This position is great because you can detect tanks crossing over if they're going far to this, what is it, one lane. Here we just poke out, we put a snapshot into E50. Now we see this motion. Now I made probably a mistake here. I should have probably fired my shell into him, see if I could see his bottom plate. But instead I decided to load my heat rounds right away. With heat rounds we should be able to go through his turret, so that's what we're trying to do here. So we put one shell through his turret. As you can see here, I'm not angling my tank very well. I should have been angling much straighter. I'm actually exposing my top plate, angling like this. See, that's probably not perfect. Perfect angle would be perfectly straight. Like in this case, it's going to be, again, not the greatest positioning. Here you can see me fighting with gun depression. But this is probably better here. I'm going to try to hit his left cheek. Oh no, Capola. I went for Capola shot here, but it didn't come off. I slightly missed that shot. So we're going to see if we can hit him in the bottom plate here. Yeah, we put a shell in his bottom plate. Very narrow shot, but we managed to put that in. Now this angling is much better now. Much straighter. Now he shows his side turret to me, so this should be an easy shot. No problems there. And we're going to keep this position to see if he decides to stick around, but not. He decides to go towards the one lane. But we're going to hang around here for a bit because we can still see the tortoise. You see the standard B poking out, so we're going to put a shell into him. So there are still shots in this position. I don't have to move. So I'm going to play it safe still. I'm just going to hang around here until all the shots are gone. Here, I don't know what this guy's doing. I thought he was going to cross, and he decided to stop in the area when there's open shot. So all of a sudden the light tanks, I could see them kind of jogging around the back. But I'm not gonna take on all three light tanks by myself. I decided not to. I'm like, you know what, let our light tanks worry about them. And I can see one of my light tanks already dropping, and there's still tank destroyer there, and there's a heavy tank. So I'm like, you know what, I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm gonna try to push this side of the field instead. So we're gonna come up here. This tortoise is busy, so we're gonna line up a shot on his Capola. We put a big shell into him and he gets taken out. Now we're gonna push a little bit further over here, and hopefully we can catch these tank destroyers with their backs towards us, especially this T-95. So let's see if we can get our gun down. As you can see, I'm fighting gun depression here. Very narrow shot, but I decide to take it. Now in many cases this shot will hit the ground, so I wouldn't recommend for you guys to do that. Now here you can see me as slightly repositioned so I can get better gun depression using the terrain, and we put another shell into this T-95. Now he's turning around, and T-95 frontally is extremely hard to hit, especially with gun accuracy like this gun. So we switch our attention to T-30, but he is smart to turn, and he began side scraping, so that's going to be a much more difficult task to hit him. So now the only option I have is hit this T-95 and a Capola, and with this gun accuracy I probably won't be able to hit him. I switched to heat rounds. Maybe this will come off, but I don't think it will. No, it missed completely. So we need to rethink the situation here. I don't want to be playing this game. T-95 is frontally to us and I won't be able to pen him. So we need to reposition. Here I take a hit. Luckily it misses. It was from the guys at J5, but I thought it might have been coming from maybe K3 or somewhere over there, so that's why you see me making this strange maneuver. I just didn't recognize the situation properly here. But anyway, my idea here now is I can see my light tank going in the middle. And also when you look at the zero line, there's only 2 tanks there, M46 Pat on our side, and then there's opposition's heavy tank. So they're busy doing, you know, fighting over there. I decided to just scoot through the middle and flank through here. Basically I can engage the T-30, and I'm not afraid of T-30. I'm full health. If I can engage him face to face, just face hag him, I should be able to take him out of the game. So he decides to go for my light tank. He takes him out, but we're gonna track him and damage him at the same time, and we're gonna kind of limit the distance here. We're gonna try to get to you know, face hugging position so that he has hard time hitting me. He should be hitting me in a front plate here. He has enough of gun depression to hit me in a front plate, but he decides not to do so. So we're gonna take him out of the game, and now we're gonna scoot behind these other guys that are at J5. And well, right now only 1 tank left there. I think it's an E50. So we're gonna try to take him out of the game, and that will conclude this game. So in this game we kind of showed a little bit of angling early against the Mautian. I mean, he wasn't really good at shooting at me. He was missing the shots, so it doesn't show, you know, credibly how much shots I was able to bounce and stuff like that. But it does show my angling and what I was doing right, what I was doing wrong. Plus, it was a relatively decent game with respect to damage, so I thought I would show it to you guys. Now, I had a decent run with this tank last weekend, I believe, or I can't remember. Yeah, it was last weekend. And yeah, I was averaging about 4k damage, so it was a really decent run, and this tank can actually put up some good numbers if you know how to angle it, if you know how to play it. It will struggle slightly against tier 10s, but that's expected. But, you know, the shell penetration is good, especially premium shell penetration is spectacular with heat rounds. It's just you need to make sure you angle it properly, because if you don't, you're just gonna get chewed apart. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Go check out Klongai72 and Garadini. That's it for today. Until next time, happy tanking, Space Bandit, checking out.